Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. This is your home for fair trade Bible study that's sustainable and organic. Today we're looking at Psalm 4, verse 8. We're going to finish off Psalm 4 today and get ready for Psalm 5 next week. And today we just have this one verse, verse 8, and this verse really concludes for us this second section. It ties it all together, and really it kind of ties the whole psalm together, because if you look at the first stanza of verse 8, we can go back up into the first half of the psalm in verse 4 and kind of get a theme there, and then the second stanza in verse 8 is also a theme that we find in the second half, the trust theme. So let me just read this for you. In peace I will at once lie down and I will sleep. For you, O Lord, alone cause me to dwell securely. Now I said we could go back up into the first half and look at verse 4. Be enraged, do not sin. Speak in your heart upon your bed and be silent. So a lot of us need to be silent, don't we? And so we have in verse 8, and in peace, I will at once lie down. Where are you going to lie down? You're going to lie down on your bed, aren't you? You're going to lie down and sleep. That's what we do in our bed. So, in peace, I'm going to do that. How is it that the psalmist can do that, to do that in peace? Because he trusts in the Lord. See, peace only comes to us as we trust in the Lord. In peace, I will at once lie down and I will sleep. He does that because he's fully trusting in the Lord. This could be the psalm of the bed. We could call it that, I guess, because we have the bed there in verse 4, and we have it again here, although it's not mentioned, but we're lying down and we're sleeping, so, we're going to do that on our bed. We're going to lie down and sleep in peace because the Lord's our trust. We're trusting Him. For you, O Lord, alone cause me to dwell securely. Now, I think I've already alluded to this. This is how the theme comes to an end or a close here. The word securely is the same Hebrew root as the word for trust. And trust in the Lord in verse 5 here is to dwell securely. So I'm dwelling securely, I'm trusting in the Lord. Both of those work together to almost act like bookends to this half of the psalm. So the first half we had call and hear, and those were working together to create that theme that runs through verses 1 through 4. Here we have the word trust as a theme that runs through 5, 6, 7, and 8. And of course we've seen it in the first half of verse 8, and now specifically kind of closing out for us this entire psalm. Okay, let's look back through the psalm real quick. We know this to the choir master or of the choir master on the Niganoth. It's a stringed instrument, a psalm of David. The first half of the psalm, verses 1 through 4, are dealing with David's declaration of praying and trusting. I will call, he will answer. The Lord will hear when I call. On that statement there in verse 3, know then that the Lord has set apart the godly for himself. That difference, that division between the godly and the ungodly. And the sons of men are described here as being that ungodly group. They're turning his glory into shame, that is, his trust in the Lord. And then we have trust specifically identified after the second Selah in verse 5. Offer sacrifices of righteousness and trust in the Lord. Why would you ever offer sacrifices to the Lord? Well, you do it because you trust Him. You trust Him that He's going to do what He said. You see, trust or faith always has to do with a promise. It has to do with what the Lord has said. So I'm trusting in the Lord, not because I have some itchy feeling on my fingers or on my arms or my legs or my back or my neck. It's not because there's a feeling that I have. I'm trusting Him because what He has said He's going to do, I know He'll do it. He's trustworthy, friends. And so, the Lord alone causes me to dwell securely. Join me again next week, and we'll look at Psalm 5 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.